then I bring it right back. They wonder how I do it like that. 7-fit flex on the checks on that.
Alright, g'day guys, welcome back to the Hand Pack channel. Today we're making MBC bases. So these MBC bases are basically what you'll see on most car vehicles to mount antennas on. So what we are making is one for my bonnet mount for a car. So this here, simply on your bonnet of a car, you put this onto the bonnet, clamp it down, it clamps on down, and you put the bonnet down and it sort of just sits like that on the actual bonnet itself. So it's a bit different from a mag mount. That's the one I've got at the moment. That's what we're making today. So we've got an MBC here, not waterproof, just a basic MBC, and you mount your antennas on top like this, and it screws on. It's just a SO239 really. But yeah, let's go ahead and make this. So we're going to be firstly showing you how to crimp coaxial, regular coax connectors like these. Just the BNC ones there. So that's a crimp connection. I'm going to be soldering and crimping the center pin because these cables here in my mag mounts, they go through a lot of stress and a lot of use. So we want to make sure that pin is definitely going to stay on there. And I'll show you how to properly crimp it with proper tools. So get rid of this mag mount, it's already made. What we're doing this for is, like I said, we're doing it for the bonnet mount bonnet mount, clamp, antenna clamp. So let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, we need to strip back this Coax cable. So what I'm using today is I'm using RFI's RG58. So this is a 50 ohm low loss cell foam Coax cable. So what I like to do before is I like to just make sure I have everything in front of me. I don't want to have to get up midway through doing this because you might lose parts, and it's happened to me quite a couple times. So we're going to be using just some glue, glue heat shrink over the Coax cable and our NBC base. It was maybe, I don't know if it'll be the right size because I think this tube here is pretty big. It's all I've got at the moment. If I don't have the right size, then I'll just skip it, but we'll put it over this and also over the NBC base. So stripping back our Coax cable, what I like to do is I like to go maybe about an inch. So we're going to strip back maybe an inch of cable. So this is what's holding the Coax down in place, and this one here is what pulls the Coax away. So I want about an inch, so I'm going to go from here on and go to about an inch, and I'm just going to do that. Super easy, doesn't get any strands off like this. Maybe we'll just cut a little bit more off that because I'm not quite happy with that. I'll probably do an extra little bit like that. No, it should be fine. Now before I do anything more, I like to open the BNC pack here and just get everything ready, especially that little shield or the outer, whatever you call that thingo. Okay, so putting this over the Coax here. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to cut up my heat shrink. So I'm going to cut this straight, make sure it's nice how I like it, and I'm going to cut about an inch off the heat shrink. Put this over first. Then we're going to put our crimp down onto it here. Now I probably should have done this before I stripped back the Coax cable, but I always forget. That's how I do it. Now this is the important part, the part I like to get right. I don't quite have the right tools here, but what you want to do is you want to get a pair of sharp nippers, and you just want to take about, getting our BNC thingy here. We want the center core to be sitting around about here, where this ring here starts, and we want to sort of just line it up like this and get a bit of a reference on what we want to cut it to. So I want to cut my Coax right around there, the actual shield itself. But yeah, simply just going to cut all the way around until you've got about the same size around there. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Probably not the best, but it works, alright? Now, simply, we want to make sure that there's no strands going up and potentially going to touch our center core, making a ground. I'm very happy with that. Not the best I've done, but yeah, it works for the video sakes. So we're going to pull all the shield back because we've already put our sleeve on. Pull it all back, and now we're going to go ahead and trim, make sure we have enough line. So I like to measure about 1/2 mil above our shield. So we're going to strip back until there. So what we're going to do is just pull the shield back and try and get that in the spot I want. Yeah, it's pretty good. Twist it. And now we're going to cut the actual center core to our size we want. So pushing all our shield back, making sure you're not bending it too much so we lose too much shield. This is horrible, by the way. I would not do it normally this way, but because I don't have the right tools on me at the moment, I'm just going to do it willy-nilly. So that's going to go down like this, and we get our center core exactly where I want it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut the center core so it's about 1 mil, or 1.5 mils. Don't mind those, I'll clean it up later. And that's pretty good in my opinion. Now we're just going to shock our center core. Now this is what goes into the BNC. You push this in and you see it all sticking out in the center of the BNC connector here. That just goes over our shield, making sure there's no strands of the actual shielding of the cable. Just push it over like this. I like to give it a bit of a twist in the same direction you twisted the center core if you've got strands. If you've got a solid core, then don't need to do this process, but I'll have to do this just to make sure that all our strands are twisting out the same way I want it to. Now this here is my crimping tool for coax and coax and all the connectors. So this one here, I'm using the ones I'm using is the 213. That's our regular gauge, like RG58 style crimp area, and then I'm going to be using the little tiny 43 to crimp the actual center core. So putting the center core in first, making sure we align it like this, and then we're just going to go down and crimp it like that. Normally I would try and solder a little bit around here so I can just make sure it's just definitely not going to want to come off, but I'm pretty happy with that for the video. Now we're simply just going to push this BNC, make sure you get the center core here into the center of this, and we're pushing it right through, making sure we aren't bending it inside, and we're pushing it right up until you hear a click. There we are. That click is what we want to hear. That means that this center core is properly sealed inside of this. Now, as expected, you can see our shield somewhat ends around where I want it to be. As we're getting our sleeve, and we're simply going to put my finger in here, hold it down here by pinky and thumb, and push this sleeve up. And we should touch the top sleeve. There we are. That's how you want it to be, like that. Now, make sure you're pushing up as high as you can, getting your crimps onto the correct length. So it's going to be the 213 mil, and we're putting it up and crimping it. Making sure you get your crimp tool right up there to the BNC, so you got a little bit here hanging out, and that gives you that nice little look of all BNC cables. Now crimping this can be hard, so just crimp it. There we are. That right there is a crimped BNC. So give it a little tug, make sure you're not going to pull that shield off. I'm happy with that, and that is our pretty much, you know, our finished result. You see that there. Now because I'm extra, I'm putting a heat shrink over this. I don't think that's going to be the right size. I'm hoping that shrinks down to the size I want, but we'll give it a shot. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back guys. So we got a proper light this time. Just gonna get that heat shrink nicely and sealed somewhat all the way around. Alright, there we go. So that is our first connector done. Now I don't love how we've got so many strands sticking out. but if you're not going off visuals, that's completely fine. But that is our BNC side done. Now we're going to go off to the MBC side, which is where the antenna actually mounts on. Alright, so opening up our NBC base. Inside of here we've got a couple of items. So obviously we've got our main NBC base here. There's our solder point and our twist area. We've got the main ring which goes on top of here, twist on, clamps the actual base here down. And for all the visuals and making it look good, we put this here over. And that there is obviously our cap. It goes underneath and stops water or whatever getting in. And that's just a protective cover for the time being. Now, really easy this one. It's not a crimp at all. We don't crimp for this, so we don't need a crimping tool. But we're going to be going a bit shorter than we need to. So we're going to be cutting about that much there off, which is what? Solid. Yeah, so cutting off, I say about 15 mil off that. Or anything between 15 and 20 mil is going to be fine. Don't go over 20. Now we're just pulling this here back. All our shield. Actually, hang on, we're putting heat shrink on. Always forget about this. Cut your heat shrink where you want it. I'm just going to feed this back anyways, so it'll be easier. And we're simply going to be stripping this center core here away and making sure that will go in nicely. So as you can see, we've got too much strand on the shield here, but yeah, I think we need to cut a little bit more off. I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty good. And now we're going to feed this in and we're going to twist. Now make sure you got your soldering iron on for this part because you will need to solder, but just keep twisting it, making sure you're directing the center core as it goes in because it can miss. Alright, sorry about that guys, my camera up here just died on me. But what we've got here, or what we've done, is we've got our MBC base, we've twisted the coax in until we've got that center core in the center core of the NBC base itself. So we've twisted in, make sure no strands. If you've got a multi-strand center core, your coax cable, which I do, make sure you're not splitting up that, that split up. Bit of a better view for you guys. You can see right there, zooming in, our center core touching the center core of our SR239 NBC base. So now all we're going to do is solder that on, making sure you're in the gap. See the little gap in there? Making sure that you're in between that and you're ready to solder. Now something I meant to say is you can solder that little piece there, the actual center core of the coax cable, before you put it in, just a little bit, and it'll probably stay together like a normal center core coax cable. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to solder this. Hopefully my camera doesn't overheat again, but yeah, I'm going to get that soldered in, and I'll put the heat shrink over, and yeah, we're pretty much done. We'll put it onto our clamp, bonnet clamp, and we'll be good. So let's do that now. Stay. Alright, so also bit of an achievement, but I've just chewed through my entire roll of solder. So yeah, a lot of years worth of solder right there. That's all used. Don't mind my tip here, very old. As we can see, we've just soldered that on, and that's how you want it to look, like that. Hopefully you guys see that. I'll just have a look, make sure you guys can. Oh, yeah, again. So that is how you solder the center core on, and that's for a non-crimp or non-waterproof NBC base, and that's it. But normally over this anyways, I'll just put a my heat shrink tube over it, wherever it has gone. Here it is, like this. Popping that over. And you won't even see that at all. So we're just gonna go ahead and get my lighter, wherever it is. there we have it. That's our NBC base. Now we'll just make it look good with a nice bottom end. And we're gonna put this here now onto our bonnet clamp. So how I want this is because I'm gonna have this on the passenger side. I'm in Australia, so on the passenger side it's gonna be our left side, and we want the coax cable running on the left side, not running to the front of the car. So we're gonna pop that on there like this. Then we're gonna grab our ring, twist this over here, get that nice and tight with the spanner. Where have I got a spanner in here? Just get that nice and snug. Then we grab our look good cap, or whatever you want to call this. Pop that over. Oops. Now you can either give this a bit of a tighten if you want. Not really needed, but don't over tighten anything. And that is our NBC base fully in and pretty much complete. Now all you can do is put this on your bonnet, get your antenna, stick it on, and boom, you're off. So now you've got your full complete NBC base system here I've got. So basically duplicating what I've got on my mag mount antenna, wherever that is gone. So literally duplicating what I've got, except for on here I've got a SR239, and it goes to connect up to a BNC. I've just got a little adapter here. So that's just another screw on, solder on the tip there, and push it into whatever you want. Now the reason for doing this and not just going to a BNC is because I have another radio, mobile rig that uses the SR239, and it's just easier to just do that and use an adapter for BNC. I use this mostly for scanning. So it is I don't know what brand it is. It is I can't read that. But it has, not only does it have magnet, it's not only a magnet mount or mag mount, it is also doing suction. So if you put this in your car, you've got suction, so you can't do this or lift it up, whatever. And it's also got magnet, so you can definitely make sure that this is not coming up. So yeah, the reason why you want to go for maybe a clamp is if you want to have something somewhat, permanent that is temporary, or permanently temporary on your car, so you don't have to bolt something down or unscrew something. Just simply lift the bonnet up or the service hood of your car and just clamp it on. That's really it. I've got to make another video for you guys, and it's gonna make a basic another one, but for my mobile station. So that's what I'm doing in the next video. Anyways guys, I hope you guys like to watch the videos, and I'll come up with part 2 in a minute.